The crowd said it all when midway through the second half Curtis Rona burst onto a short ball from Nick Phipps and split Ben Smith and Beauden Barrett to score the Wallabies' first try during their 5,434 drubbing to the All Blacks at the Olympic Stadium on Saturday. Australia's first of 4 tries almost caught the 50,000 odd that were left in the stands by surprise. It was as if the half-empty crowd, that's how we're seeing it now, had taken pity on the Wallabies. Even All Blacks fans warmly clapped their hands and let out a sympathetic wry smile. That's what it's come to. Live stream the Bledisloe Cup and Rugby Championship on Fox Sports. Get your free 2-week Foxtel Now trial and start watching in minutes. Sign up now. Greater than the end 20-point margin won't have fooled anyone. Everybody knows that the All Blacks fell asleep, including their coach Steve Hansen. I think we got a little seduced by the scoreboard and went away from the fundamentals of what we wanted to do, Hansen said. But the stark reality is that the Wallabies let in a point a minute in the first half and trailed 546 early in the second half before scoring the final 4 tries of the match to flatter the home side. Read more. The slim rays of hope for Wallaby fans. Read more. 54 Shades of Grey. Wallabies coach Michael Cheika, as usual, refused to lay blame on his players, nor his defence coach, Nathan Gray, backing him 100% to turn it around. Cheika said that there would be few changes to his side for Saturday's second Bledisloe in Dunedin, but urged his team to play with more self-belief. Here are 5 things we learnt from the Wallabies' sorry defeat in Sydney. New Zealand's fullback Damian McKenzie evades a tackle by Samu Kerevi in Sydney. Source AFPTHE. Revolving midfield door set to continue. Ever since the World Cup, the Wallabies haven't been able to settle on a midfield combination. Injury and poor form have seen Cheika continually swap and change in his centres, which has undoubtedly had a destabilising impact on the Wallabies. Kurtley Beale and Samu Kerevi was Cheika's 10th centres combination since the World Cup, but expect that number to rise to 11 this weekend. While Cheika said that he always expected Kerevi to come from the field because he hadn't played in 10 weeks, he had no other choice than to pull him off at half-time given his inept performance in defence. He was by no means the only one, with wingers Henry Spate and Curtis Rona each guilty of missing 5 tackles, but his 4 missed tackles proved hugely costly. Just as damning were the tackles he didn't get close to making, with a second-year Wallaby often caught out of position and scrambling to take his place in the line. Tevita Kuridrani must replace Samu Kerevi at outside centre. Source Getty Image's absence in the defensive line also partly explains why Spate and Rona missed tackles, because they were forced to pick up some of the slack. There's little doubt that helps one of the most damaging ball runners in Australian rugby, but until he sorts out his defence and communication he can't start it outside centre for the Wallabies. Tevita Kuridrani, though dropping the ball with his first touch after starting the second half, must start it outside centre. He seldom misses tackles and is a useful big body to have alongside the likes of Beale and fly half Bernard Foley. Australia's lock Rory Arnold runs at New Zealand's locks Sam Whitelock and Brodie Retallick. Source AFPTALL. Timber making a mild experiment is well and truly over now. Cheika must stick with his second-row pairing of Adam Coleman and Rory Arnold. The locking duo are now bending the opposition line and making their presence felt. Coleman is Australia's most consistent player and his bone-crunching tackles left Damian McKenzie flat on his back on a number of occasions. Arnold too is starting to look at home in the international arena and his surging runs through the middle were pleasing to see. Even the line-out is operating smoothly now. If the duo can get more help from their back row teammates, the Wallabies will start to put some fear into opposition defences. Sean McMahon missed a crucial tackle on Sonny Bill Williams and was quiet during his return for the Wallabies. Source Getty Images. Bring something, anything. The All Blacks exploited the Wallabies' new midfield combination with absolute precision and skill by attacking them on the fringes. But it wasn't just the Wallabies' backline which was left grasping nothing but air. The Wallabies' forward pack simply didn't aim up. With the exception of the second row and loose head prop Scott Seo, the Wallabies' forwards were toothless. They failed to make an impact at the contact zone and therefore weren't able to apply any pressure at the breakdown. Michael Hooper's critics will point to his lack of impact at the breakdown, but even David Pocock would have struggled on Saturday. Winning the breakdown is a team effort. All Blacks flanker Sam Cane didn't have the same impact he usually does either at the breakdown, but he had the support of the likes of Brodie Retallick and Ryan Crotty applying pressure there. Sean McMahon produced his quietest performance yet in a Wallabies jersey, while Ned Hannigan offered little too without doing anything wrong in particular. Cheika must bring in Lapeti Tamani for McMahon to add some size to the Wallabies forward pack. And though his set-piece was delivered with precision, Tatafu Politano must replace ex-captain Stephen Moore to add some mongrel to the pack. Sekope Kepa's inclusion would also provide the Wallabies some experience in what shapes as a season-defining second Rugby Championship test. In his first test since the World Cup final, Kurtley Beale posed the All Blacks plenty of troubles. Source AAPBEALE provides ray of hope. There was no player Australian rugby missed more over the past 12 months than Kurtley Beale. His absence during last year's England series down under hurt the Wallabies badly, as they struggled to fill the void left by Matt Giteau. The Waratahs, too, desperately missed his potency following his mid-season injury last year and looked lost without him this year, after a playing stint in the English Premiership where he helped guide Wasps into the final. But in his first match for the Wallabies since the World Cup final, Beale looked at home wearing the Wallabies jersey and immediately posed the All Blacks some threats in defence. He didn't always break the line, but he put doubt into the minds of the All Blacks. His defence held up too. On a number of occasions he made try-saving tackles, and the Wallabies must start believing in his defence, which has improved significantly since 2015 rather than attempting to hide him out the back. Culture key to All Blacks' success. The All Blacks shocked many last week after naming Liam Squire at blindside flanker and live-wire Damian McKenzie at fullback. Not because they weren't worthy of starting, but because they were replacing a couple of All Black greats. 2 Jerome Kaino, one of hardest men in rugby, and had the confidence to move the marvellous Ben Smith away to the wing, showed that Hansen wasn't prepared to sit still as a coach. The selection shocks came during a week when the All Blacks culture was questioned after separate scandals involving Kaino and halfback Aaron Smith. But the decision worked a treat. Squire and McKenzie, both with less than 10 tests to their name, were fantastic. Their performances continued the All Blacks' history of debutants or inexperienced players transitioning with ease into the international arena. Last year we saw Anton Lienert-Brown catapulted into the All Blacks team for the second Bledisloe test after a number of injuries to the midfield, and the young centre didn't miss a beat. Blues youngster Rico Ione and Hurricanes duo Nani Laumapi and Geordie Barrett also looked settled from get-go in the All Black jersey too this season after making test debuts in June. That doesn't just happen overnight. It happens from having a structure in place to nurture talent and an environment which allows players to feel comfortable. Success undoubtedly helps breed confidence, but this team continues to soar to new heights.